Hello, this is Newslive on Viewer Television. My name is Joy Malik. We begin with the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari directs security agencies to rescue all adopted persons. INEC says 2023 elections must hold despite insecurity. Plus, Ukrainian official says 1,020 civilian bodies in Kyiv mosques. Thank you for joining us. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday met with heads of security establishment and some ministers at the State House in Abuja. The meeting comes after recommendations by the National Council of State over the security challenges in the country. Physically in attendance were the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, the Chief of Staff to the President Ibrahim Gambari, and the National Security Advisor Major General Babangana Mungono. Still on security matters, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed security chiefs to rescue all persons adopted during the Kaduna train attack and other persons still in captivity. National Security Advisor Bangana Mungono disclosed these after a meeting of the National Security Council presided over by President Buhari at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Now, Mungono said the president was saddened by the security situation in the country and demanded immediate action from the security chiefs. He also called for the strengthening of the nation's borders to curb insecurity. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has made an attempt to define the concept of terrorism in Nigeria, saying the Boko Haram sect has neither religious nor ethnic underpinning. Buhari said, armed with this fact, the majority of Nigerians are now being adequately educated on these ills and most of the citizens are coming to know the truth. The president made these remarks while receiving the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan, at State House, Abuja. Meanwhile, the ICC prosecutor linked extremism to cancer, which he says spreads and can also recede. Now, moving over to COVID-19 vaccines, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Minister of Health, Dr. Ozage Hinare, to submit a progress report by the end of May 2022 on the indigenous production of vaccines in the country. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity. Now, according to Adesina, the President gave the directive while receiving the leadership of the Nigerian Integrated Biopharmaceutical Industries, led by Villarugol Sigios, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Fredla. Now, the president told his audience that Nigeria has learned key lessons from the pandemic, including that countries must look inward for sustenance in food and medical supplies. The First Lady Aisha Buhari has invited presidential aspirants to a dinner at the Presidential Villa on Saturday. The invitation, which was extended to all presidential hopefuls across political parties, is expected to have Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo and 17 other aspirants from the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, including Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and others in the ruling All Progressive Congress, graced the occasion. The invitation card for the event that was in circulation on Thursday advised those participating not to come along with their mobile devices, stating that their invitation cards will serve as their entry pass. And on 2023 election, the Northern Elders Forum and Igbo Social, Cultural and Political Organization, Ohaneze Digbo, have rejected the call for an interim government and postponement of the 2023 elections as canvassed by elder statesman Chief Afe Babalola San. Now, reacting to the call, the Northern Elders did not only reject the proposal but also urged Nigerians to act in manners that reinforce Nigerians' democratic system and help the nation through its current challenges. Director of Publicity and Advocacy of NEF, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, in an exclusive chat with newsmen in Abuja, described Babalola's suggestions as ideas that represent threats to our constitutional democracy. When Newslive returns, the Independent National Electoral Commission has maintained that the 2023 general election will hold despite the security challenges in the country. Now, details of these and more comes to you right after the break, so stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Ikia Maton. Being an anchor has been a tremendous experience, from editing the news to reading the news. As an anchor, you have to be objective and impartial. Sometimes you have to put on a very indifferent look, a stoic character, such that you do not display your emotions. But then the stories that we tell, from politics to the economy to insecurity to education, also affect us. And as journalists, we are also affected by stories. From the teleprompter to the lights to the camera to the action to the reading of the news, it's all a synchronization of various activities at the same time. Sometimes you have to listen to feedback, sometimes you have to stop, sometimes you have to continue. Sometimes, you know, there are technical hitches that we can never overlook, but then you have to come up with a strategy, you have to come up with your professionalism to ensure that the audience do not even know what is happening behind the scenes, and then you just have to carry on.
The game of polo, it's my life. Polo is good. Though I just started and I'm still learning the basics. But I hope to be a pro in this game, and God being by my side, I know everything will be fine. I started 4 months ago. I started stick and ball 4 months ago, though I attended the riding course in Pakistan. I've learned the riding basics, but the game of polo 4 months ago, I started stick and ball. Every day we mount on the horse, we pray, and once we come down, as you can see, I was about ending and I fell from the horse. It's a normal thing. In horse riding, if you don't fall, you've not started yet. So you need to train. You can see I'm sweating, I'm eating banana, it's part of it. You must train, you must eat well, and you must learn properly. I've chosen polo to be my own sport, and I've always looked up to people like General Kazil Fire, General MSA Aliu, Colonel Waibelu, and General Laka. A few of them, I've looked up to these people. These are great polo players, and they've always encouraged me to play the game of polo.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Newslive on Viewer Television. A recap of our top stories. President Muhammad Buhari directs security agencies to rescue all adopted persons. INEC says 2023 elections must hold despite insecurity. Plus, Ukrainian official says 1,020 civilian bodies in Kyiv marks. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has maintained that the 2023 general elections will hold despite the security challenges in the country. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this in Abuja at a public presentation of the 2022 to 2026 strategic plan and the 2023 election project plan. Now, Yakubu explained that document presented were the third in a series of strategic election plans since the era of deliberate planning of elections started in 2012. While pledging to ensure the safety of electoral personnel and materials, accredited observers, media practitioners and voters, Yakubu called for the support of all Nigerians to successfully conduct the polls. The chairman, Buhari Area Council of the FCT, John Gambaya, said the monthly sanitation to address environmental challenges in the area is being reintroduced. Gambaya said the Environment Department of the Council was working tirelessly to address the issue of sanitation and hygiene practices. The chairman said that the council would come up with more details of the plan, adding that residents would be notified on the date and time of the exercise. Now, the Director General of the Nigerian Director of Meteorological Agency, Professor Masu Matazo, has reiterated the importance of getting feedback on the forecast issued. Mutazu disclosed this during his welcome address at the opening ceremony of the 2022 edition of the workshop on agro-hydroclimatic characteristics of the major rainy season in the Sudan and Sahel countries, the West African sub-region, including Mauritania and Chad. Presser SS. Now, earlier in the opening remarks, the head department of research and information at the Center of Agriculture and Hydrological Meteorology in Niamey, Niger Republic, Dr. Abdul Ali, disclosed that many actors are waiting for the outcome of the forum to plan their activities. The Ministry of Mines and Steel Development said it had reclaimed 37 abandoned mine sites from 2008 to date. Now, the Director, Mines and Environment Compliance Department, Vivian Okono, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen on Thursday in Abuja. Okono said that the abandoned mines sites were reclaimed due to the hazard they posed to the communities, adding that 6 more sites would be reclaimed in 2022. She said the enactment of the 2007 Mineral and Mining Act stipulated that abandoned mine sites in the country should be reclaimed. Now, there has been a fire outbreak at the Makurdi office of the Central Bank of Nigeria in Benue State. The fire is said to have started in the early hours of Thursday. Although there is no official confirmation yet on the cause of the fire, newsmen gathered that the fire started from the fuel dome of the bank. The director of Benue State Fire Service, Donald, also confirmed the incident. He said the fire service received a distress call about the fire incident and promptly deployed his men to the scene, and the fire has been subdued. The People's Democratic Party has demanded an independent judicial inquiry into the Nigerian Air Force aircraft disaster. The 2 officers, Abubakar Kali and Elijah Karatu, were killed in the aircraft crash which took place at NAF Base, Kaduna State. In a statement released by PDP spokesperson Debo, described the incident as one of the country's incessant, unexplained military aircraft crashes in the country in the last 7 years. The opposition party asked military personnel not to be discouraged by the incident, but to remain focused on their constitutional duty. At least 6 children between the ages of 5 and 12 years have been reportedly killed by the Nigerian Air Force airstrike in Kuruba community of Shiroro local government area of Niger State. It was gathered rather that the air component of the joint security operatives mistakenly struck the community while trying to bombard the hideout of terrorists in part of the local government. Residents told newsmen that several houses were also destroyed by the airstrike that was conducted on Wednesday. The spokesman of Coalition of Shiroro Associations, Salis Mohammed Sambo, said the incident happened in the morning when the children were fetching water from a motorized borehole within the Kurebe community. Sambo said the father lost 2 of his daughters and 2 granddaughters to the strike, adding that the community where the airstrike took place was not the hideout of the bandits. And on Business Today, telecommunication subscribers under the aegis of the National Association of Telecom Subscribers have said they are set to drag the federal government to court in May in a bid to temporarily suspend the government's barring of subscribers' outgoing calls. The federal government had earlier ordered telecom companies to bar outgoing calls on all lines that have yet to link their national identification number and the subscriber identity module. As a result of these, about 72.77 million active telecom subscribers were banned from making calls on their SIMs. In response to this, the president of NATCOMS, Adeolu, urged the federal government to extend the implementation of the SIM lane policy by 3 months. Moving over to pension scheme, according to the National Pension Commission, at least 101,376 workers who retired from active service cannot be placed on monthly pensions. Figures obtained from PENCOM show that the affected workers have received all the contributions in their retirement savings account, totaling 32.58 billion naira, and quits the contributory pension scheme. Now, PENCOM said the affected retirees had below 550,000 naira as the balance in their RSAs. The latest figure of 131,376 retirees indicates a 14.4% increase from the 114,837 retired workers that withdrew 28.46 billion naira as of the end of June 2020. Now moving over to CBN reports, Nigeria's external reserves rose by $243.83 million in 19 days, according to figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, CBN revealed in its data on movement it reserves that the value rose from $39.54 billion as of April 1st, 2022 to $39.78 billion as of April 19th, 2022. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting said the moderate accretion to reserves reflects the duality of Nigeria's position as an oil exporter and importer of refined petroleum products. A member of the Monetary Policy Committee, Professor Mike Obadan, said for a long time the oil sector had contributed over 90% of the nation's foreign exchange earnings and external reserves accretion. Net foreign exchange, that's forex, inflow into the economy fell by 27% year-on-year to $52.46 billion in 2021 from $70.66 billion in 2020. Analysis of the fourth quarter 2021, quarter 4 21 statistical bulletin of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) showed that forex inflow into the economy dropped by 19%. to $94.3 billion in 2021 from $115.59 billion in 2020. According to the CBN, forex inflows through autonomous sources fell by 28% YoY to $54.2 billion in 2021 from $75.4 billion in 2020. Now, forex outflows through autonomous sources, however, rose by 100.7% YoY to $5.42 billion in 2021 and $2.69 billion in 2020. And the news around the world, the bodies of more than 1,000 civilians are being stored in mosques in the Kyiv region after Russian troops withdrew from areas around the capital, a senior Ukrainian official told newsmen on Thursday. Now, 1,020 bodies of civilians, only civilians in the areas of all the Kyiv region, were discovered. Deputy Prime Minister of European and Euro-Atlantic Integration of Ukraine told newsmen in Borodinka. These are only civilians collected from buildings, but also on the streets, she said, specifying that the death date of the beginning of Russian invasion of Ukraine in late February.
Civilians are the ones who we believe were victims of torture or summary execution by Russian forces?
Yes.
Okay.
This is like in the areas of all Kiev region, without Kiev itself. So these are only civilians who has been collected from these buildings, but also on the streets and basically in Bucha, the placement of Russian army in the place they were residing. They had a backyard, and we found dozens of dead bodies there. And just next door, they were eating, drinking vodka, and sleeping. You know, by torturing people and then killing them. So this is the level of gravity. You should not only investigate by the international court, but you can see it.
Still on Ukraine, while U.S. President Joe Biden pledged $800 million in more weapons for Ukraine on Thursday and said he would ask Congress for more money to help bolster support for the Ukrainian military as it faces a fresh onslaught by Russia on its eastern flank. Addressing Americans from the White House Roosevelt Room, Biden pledged to send heavy artillery, dozens of hull teasers, and 144,000 rounds of ammunition, as well as tactical drones, as he called on Congress for supplemental funding to provide additional aid for Kyiv. Biden also announced $500 million in direct economic assistance to the Ukrainian government as it battles to save lives of people under siege by Russian forces.
This package includes heavy artillery weapons, dozens of howitzers, and 144,000 rounds of ammunition to go with those howitzers. It also includes more tactical drones. Our unity at home, our unity with our allies and partners, and our unity with the Ukrainian people is sending an unmistakable message to Putin. He will never succeed in dominating and occupying all of Ukraine. That will not.
Now, 4 buses carrying evacuees from Mariupol have left the besieged and destroyed port city, where Ukrainian forces are battling to retain control, the government said on Thursday. 4 evacuation buses managed to leave the city through the humanitarian corridor, Deputy Prime Minister Irina said on social media, adding that evacuations of women, children and the elderly would continue on Thursday. The Battle of Mariupol appears to be nearing a tipping point after nearly 2 months of devastating fighting that has seen untold numbers of civilians trapped and killed. Control of Mariupol and the separatist-controlled eastern Donbass region would allow Moscow to complete a southern corridor to the Crimean Peninsula that it annexed in 2014, depriving Ukraine of much of its coastline.